My mom. My mom loves me, and my mom loves football. Ever since the beginning, she always told me how much she loved football when I was a kid growing up. Son, I love football. And my dad loves me, and my dad loves football. And I always remember him telling me, son, I love football. In 1968, when I was 8 years old, I won my first pump, pass, and kick. That's my little brother. My dad's favorite team was the Packers, and my mom's favorite team was the Giants. But I wanted my own favorite team. So because I liked the horseshoe on their helmets, I picked the Colts. And because my brother liked the star on the Cowboys' helmets, he picked them. In 1971, they met in the Super Bowl. As I grew up, my mom always went to my practices and games. She even went to award ceremonies and got trophies with me. Now, when I got to high school, I had always been taught to respect our coaches and to follow their lead, especially our football coaches, because they were going to teach us about the game of football, and football was going to teach us about the game of life. However, I had one coach who said, you know what, here's where your dreams should die. I don't want you to be disappointed, and I don't want you to fail. So because I was from a small town, we were always taught by certain people to get a job with the state and to settle down and to not pursue a dream, especially a football dream. But my mom, she never thought that. So while I played high school football and was a very good player, and after the season when I got a lot of awards, even when I wasn't there, my mom got them for me, she said, Stretch, which was her nickname for me, son, don't ever let your football dream die. Don't ever, please, promise me. And I said to her, Lots, my nickname for her, Lots, I promise I will never let our football dream die. So in the early 1980s, with my new football life starting, I chose to go to a college who, like me, was starting their football life over. So I tried out and walked on with the University of Miami Hurricanes. As a receiver, naturally I bonded with the offensive coach who at that time was starting out his own football career as a graduate assistant. So when it came time to start the season, I knew I had somebody and a coach that I could talk to. But I also knew that I could never talk to anybody who would help me to follow my dream more than my beautiful mom. And while I was afraid to begin that season, my mom came down to encourage me and to help me, to tell me how much she loved me. But she also came down to give me some bad news in her own quiet and silent way. My mom came down to tell me she was terminally ill and she was dying with cancer. And I went home with my mom while she told me to stay and play. But I couldn't. So when I went to be with my mom, I remember being in the hospital room and going out to the phone booth and calling this one coach who I knew. And he said, Mark, stay with your mom. Football will always be here. And my mom said, I'll be okay, son. Please go. Go back to school and follow your dream. Well, in October on the 17th in 1982, my beautiful mama, by then 8 children died. And I didn't really think about football after that. In January of 1984, the University of Miami won their first national championship. And then I remembered a couple of years later the dream that my mom had and the promise we had between each other. So I went back to the school and made the team. Went to a bowl game, got this beautiful watch, but I couldn't get a scholarship because I was declared ineligible because of that one fateful year that I missed, but that was okay. So after my football career ended, much like my mom, it died an early death. Years would pass, 17 actually, and in 2002 I used my education and my experience to meet up with that coach from college who was now an offensive coordinator in the NFL. And I met with Coach, and we began a unique relationship and friendship and even something of a brotherly bond. So even when he went to Canada to become a head coach, I went with him. And in 2013, he had the chance to be the head coach of my childhood team, the Colts, but he lost out on that job. But in 2013, my friend and my lifelong brother, Coach Trestman, had me in his office where he was announced the head coach of the Chicago Bears, the founding franchise of the NFL. When he got me a ticket to the game, I could do anything but cry. And I remember the Fiesta Bowl watch and that the dream of football for he and me and my mom would never ever die. Together we made football. Thank you.